First at 4, tracking a few showers today, but enjoy every dry hour past that because we've got a week's worth of rain headed our way. We'll track it for you coming up. Karen?
Also first at 4, a new report blasts claims of fraud in Michigan's 2020 election. What a Republican-led committee is suggesting should happen next. Also the story of the cheerleader and the social media battle that went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. It could protect your children someday. First at 4 starts now.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. We do have breaking news here first at 4. We're getting our first look at a teenager accused in the shooting death of his own father. 18-year-old Hayden Yakes faces several charges, including open murder. Prosecutors say he shot and killed his father, 48-year-old Edward Yakes, Monday at a home off Rickett Road in Brighton. His father was a 21-year veteran of the Canton Township Police Department. The son later turned himself in, and a rifle was found in his car. Yakes pled not guilty today to all charges. He was denied bond. Republican-led investigation of Michigan's 2020 election finds no systemic fraud and points the blame in a new direction. A state Senate Oversight Committee did a deep dive into several areas, including the vote count at the TCF Center and results in Antrim County. You'll remember initial results in Antrim County showed a victory for Joe Biden when Donald Trump was actually ahead. It was attributed to human error, not a problem with voting machines, and was fixed. The 55-page report says people promoting any fraud theories in Antrim County are, quote, in a position of zero credibility. It also finds voters can be confident that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in Michigan by 155,000 votes. Today, a handful of Michigan County clerks gathered to show their support for Antrim County's Cheryl Guy. They say she did her job, and voters should know this.
We need to move forward from this, and we need to stand up and say there is nothing wrong with our elections, there is nothing wrong with our equipment. We have proven that time and time again. We can prove time and time again that our elections are secure, that we have the utmost integrity for our elections.
The Senate report calls for Attorney General Dana Nessel to consider investigating people who have made false allegations about Michigan's results for their own benefit. Still, the battle over election integrity and voting rights continues in Michigan and Washington, D.C. Paula Tubman has that part of the story in just a few minutes. Governor Whitmer has signed a new bipartisan bill that releases the remaining $2.2 billion in federal COVID relief. The money was sent to the state back in December. About $1.5 billion will support the state's food assistance program. $378 million will go to the state's emergency rental assistance program. Additional funding will go to police and fire departments for essential services. There's also disaster relief dollars going to hospitals for their COVID vaccination efforts and to the Midland area after last year's flooding. While the state of Michigan has celebrated removing COVID mandates, the city of Detroit is not ready to move on. The city's health department is actually extending its emergency order through July 31st. That allows local government agencies to continue public meetings with virtual components. The city cites lagging vaccination rates as part of the reason for that order, with only 39% of residents having one shot or more. The state average is just above 61%. Meantime, Michigan's unemployment agency will start taking in-person appointments at 12 offices. That begins June 30th. And today, the state reported 174 new cases of COVID and 2 additional deaths. All right, let's take a look at our first forecast. Ben Bailey tracking a very slight change in showers today and summer heat. Will it be making a comeback? I know we got a lot of rain in the forecast.
We do, Karen, and yes, we're going to get some summer-like heat in between the time that rain starts falling. But as of right now, it's still kind of a faux spring-like number out there. 68 in Detroit, some 70s out here in Port Huron and Monroe. But we're also watching some areas of wet weather that we'll be tracking as we get later on into the afternoon hours. Coming up, we'll talk more about how much rain we're expecting and also what we're looking at as far as the extended period of wet weather that starts on Friday and could stretch an entire week. We'll tell you how much to expect and what the numbers are coming with that in just a few minutes. Karen?
We'll check back with you in just a little bit, Ben. Breaking news at this hour, President Joe Biden about to outline a new strategy to fight a dramatic surge in gun violence all across the country. We've certainly seen the toll it's taking here in Metro Detroit. Now, the White House hoping to fight back. Kimberly Gill monitoring the president's new plan. Kim, what's this all about?
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Yeah, some estimates show that 30% increase in homicides last year, and Republicans have been quick to paint the president as soft on gun violence. So he's hoping to change that perception, but his approach might be seen as more proactive rather than a crime crackdown. So the president is pushing measures to stem the flow of firearms into the wrong hands, and he wants to use COVID funds to give local law enforcement more resources. He also wants to invest in community violence intervention, along with money for expanded employment opportunities, and he's hoping to increase help for recently incarcerated people as they re-enter communities. Now, of course, this debate is playing out during a really tricky time as many progressives are pushing for major police reforms in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder, of course. The president will try to juggle both as he moves forward. Karen, the president should be speaking in a few moments. We'll have his comments when you join us tonight on Local 4 News at 5. For now, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
For the first time in more than 50 years, the Supreme Court sides with a high school student, and this is a free speech case, and it is getting a lot of attention. The court ruled the school violated the First Amendment rights of cheerleader Brandy Levy. Now, in 2017, Levy, who was 14 at the time, didn't get a spot on the varsity squad at the school. She reacted by posting vulgar messages that criticized the school on Snapchat. Well, when school officials found out, they suspended her from the JV team. The court ruled the teenager was protected by the First Amendment when she posted the messages off campus. She's now 18 and a freshman in college. Democrats are vowing to keep fighting after Senate Republicans used the filibuster to kill a voting rights bill, at least for now. Now, we did preview the vote yesterday, first at 4. The final tally was along party lines, 50-50. Now, because of the filibuster, 60 votes are needed to move any bill forward in the Senate. Democrats say the For the People Act is needed to fight a wave of restrictive election reforms. Republicans say voting rules should be handled by the states. Paula Tutman joins us this afternoon with a closer look at the battle playing out across the country and right here in Michigan. Paula.
Yeah, hi, Karen. So, of course, voters' rights, I should say. The issue is front and center. Let me lose this umbrella or I'm going to blow away. So the issue is front and center, but it is following two separate but equal tracks. The federal level as well as the state level. And as you mentioned, last night's Senate vote actually shows the intersection of both. The U.S. Senate's failure to advance a bill that Democrats say would ensure voter protections for all legal voters runs a parallel track with states like Michigan, which has proposed a list of ways to restrict votes or protect the integrity of votes, depending largely on what voting party you belong to. Democrats at the state and federal level have been working to block what they believe is a wave of voter restrictions in states with Republican-led legislatures, though the chair of Oakland County's GOP says his party is actually trying to make voting easier.
What the Democratic leadership at the federal level were trying to do is basically ensure that they stay in power and they eliminate any type of party opposition to the Democratic Party.
But according to Oakland University's department head for political science, the continued erosion in voter confidence and continued efforts led by Republicans on the state and national level to restrict voting is a threat to people electing government as opposed to government electing government.
There is an intentional policy to try to undermine confidence in our electoral system because at least one party in our two-party system, the Republicans, believes that will be to their advantage, that they do better when fewer people vote.
The filibuster is key to settling the argument.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50.
Given the rules of the Senate, in order to begin debate, you have to have 60 votes. And so they couldn't get that because the Republicans stood in lockstep to prevent a debate on this, I think it was what For the People Act, which is the voting rights bill that came out of the House.
And there is a huge divide in the nation, depending on which goggles you're looking through.
It's not far off the mark to describe many of these restrictions as a new form of Jim Crow.
Jim Crow was disgusting. Voter laws that prohibited people and stopped them from voting, those laws should be fought against. Should be fought against, and we should fight racism. But we should also not mar rational laws that prevent cheating and mar them in a racial comment.
So the state of Michigan continues to push what Republicans call reform and what Democrats call suppression. They continue to push that issue, despite the fact, Karen, with what you even mentioned earlier in the show, that Senate oversight largely by Republicans, that state senator oversight report that there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud.
All right, Paula Tutman live for us this afternoon on a very controversial topic. Still ahead, here first at 4. Have you heard about the airline actually charging a COVID safety fee? We do have an update that should inspire you to check the fine print on your travel plans. First, a small town facing a water emergency after a devastating blast. We have new video into our newsroom of the explosion as